Hi, this is Richard Bolger, and today I wanted to talk to you about a particular group of people who would greatly benefit from considering filing for bankruptcy. And those people are senior citizens. I started practicing bankruptcy law in 1987, and I have since that time followed the trends, filing statistics, and I have noticed that a lot of my clients are looking at their retiring years and deciding, hey, I think I'm going to have a problem here. My income is going to be reduced from what it is now, and I'm having a tough time just balancing my budget as it is. And I have this debt which doesn't seem to be going anywhere. In fact, academics have been studying this um, issue for quite some time, and in 2018 released a study that was characterized in an article I was reading recently as follows. It says bankruptcy filings among retirees have soared in recent years as widening wealth inequality leaves millions of elderly Americans in dire financial straits, according to a pair of recent studies that cast a pall over the financial stability of the country's aging population. The rate at which Americans at least 75 years old filed for bankruptcy more than tripled from 1991 to 2016, while filings among those between 65 and 74 ballooned more than 200%. The aging of the baby boomer generation has left America with a considerably larger share of older citizens approaching, entering, or living through the retirement years than was the case several years ago. But that trend alone is not an explanation for the broader trend of the number of people filing bankruptcy at the age of 65 years or over. At this time, 1 in 7 bankruptcy filers is of a retirement age, 65 years or over, which is a five-fold increase in just the past 2.5 decades. Now, a lot of people I talked to as they got older, like I said, they are doing their budget, they're doing their finances, they're looking at their income. They might be retiring on Social Security with not a whole lot more. And they, again, have like a lot of debt, maybe unsecured debt, credit cards, what have you, that have a high interest rate. And they're making minimum payments perhaps, and they maybe a little more, but this has been going on for years and the balances aren't going down. And they're looking in the mirror and saying, hey, I'm not going to be able to get this done. What do I want to do? Do I want to leave this for my family to deal with? Sometimes I'll get, and it's not that unusual, I'll get a call from the family. I'll get a call from a son or a daughter who says, hey, we're like helping mom and dad do their finances now, and we've noticed that they're not going to have enough income to pay their debts. So we think they should consider filing bankruptcy. Again, back to this study, it said that as of 2016, the share of elderly Americans filing for bankruptcy had ballooned nearly 480% from where it was in 1991. For those over 75, the share of the country's total bankruptcy filings climbed by nearly 1,000%. So, the fact of the matter is that senior citizens are in a very sensitive time of their lives where they are not going to be able to change the equation on the income side. So they have to look at changing the equation on the debt side. They're not going to be able to significantly increase how much money they have. Therefore, they're going to have to look at reducing their expenses. And one of the easiest ways to do it, and most effective ways, I'm not saying it's easy, but one of the most effective ways is to file a bankruptcy petition. So if you are of that age, or you're a family member of someone who is of that age, and you can tell that this is not going to get any better, you really ought to consider consulting with a bankruptcy attorney such as me to determine whether mom or dad or yourself would be better off if you bit the bullet and filed the bankruptcy petition. So, senior citizens and bankruptcy, it is something that is a growing trend. And thankfully, there's the very effective tool of bankruptcy because really, what else are you going to do other than um, other people paying these debts for you, which is not always possible and nor advisable. And so consider it, and we'll reach out to you in another podcast on another topic as soon as I can get back to the microphone. Have a good evening.